Alright, YouTube. Chris for the Handegard channel. Standing on a bridge in the middle of the Shasta National Forest. A little bit of heavy traffic at the moment. Otherwise, it's been pretty light all the way here. But I had to stop and stretch my legs a little bit. And this scenic spot really captured me. So I actually turned around and came back just to stop and have another look. This is Lake Britton. Lake Britton, somewhere along the 89 California highway between Mount Shasta and Reno, about halfway. I believe it's considered the Mount Shasta National Forest or National Park. Pretty spectacular fall colors. Today is November 1st, 2014. And I'm just driving down to Reno to visit my cousin on the way to Southern California from Oregon, where I spent the summer and dredged for gold. Oh, look at that. Some sort of fish just jumped down there saying, "Come and catch me." Sorry, another day. 11 years ago today, I lost my father, and he went on to find out what comes after we leave this place. I haven't always been the good son and remembered him in some fashion, but today I'm reminded that 11 years ago today he drew his last breath and I had to let him go. There were so many things I wish I could have done with him, you know, like visit places like this. Go camping, go exploring. Look at some of the wonders of the world, you know, just father and son. But it wasn't meant to be. It didn't work out that way for most of our shared lives. But I still remember him and I miss him. You know, for better or worse, he was my father. Sometimes I think I wasn't such a good son, so it weighs heavily on me. And that's just one of those things, you know, in life that we all deal with. So I'm thinking of you, Dad. I'm looking at this beautiful scene down here in remembrance of you on this day. John Henry Handegard, my father. He was a decent man. Did what he could in this life. Yeah. And on we go. So I'm going to saddle back up. It's a little chilly out here. It must be like 40, but not too windy. I just had to get one quick look at all those beautiful fall colors. In between the evergreens, there's a lot of trees changing for the winter, changing for the season. So another year is come and gone, another season. And like the song says, for every season, every time, there's a season. And we turn, turn, turn. Remembering you, my father, on this day, November 1st, 2014. Wherever you are, Jack, your son bids you a fond greeting. Hope we meet again. Just another little pit stop along the way. Traveling through the Lassen National Forest, Northern California, en route to Reno, Nevada from the state of Oregon. Quite the scenic route. A little slower than the interstate, even though it's a shorter route, but really pretty. What's up, YouTube? I stopped to take a little stretch at this beautiful overlook Vista Point somewhere in northeastern California. Just crossed the Nevada border back into California some miles back, and going through the mountains on California 395, which is not an interstate. It's pretty windy, but it's a good highway. I think maybe even better than the interstates, because some of those interstates are pretty ratty these days. What's up with that, huh? Got a little decaying infrastructure problem, do we? But it's been a beautiful drive through the mountains. Just incredible scenery everywhere you look. And I'm a guy that lived in Florida for 40 years, seeing this kind of mountain range and a lake of, I don't know the name of the lake. Spectacular. And I just went through an area of about 7,000 foot elevation. It was quite a bit of climbing on the road to get this far. And you see a lot of these markers on both sides of the roads at these elevations for the snowplows, so they can tell where the edge of the road is when it's buried under 10 feet of snow. Or in this case, it looks like they're equipped for about 8 feet of snow before the markers are buried too. But it's November 2nd, so the passes are basically open, and you're not required to put chains on just yet. So to share with you this outstanding view from this vantage point, as I continue south for the winter, I'm going to end up in Temecula, which is a town in Southern California about 70-80 miles east of LA, southeast of LA. So I've had my stretch. I've shared this beautiful scenery with you. Time to saddle up and hitch up the wagon. Continue on down the road. My trusty steed. So I'm in the Sierra Nevadas. My last little clip at the Mono Basin Lake was a plain in the Mono Basin, which is at the edge of the Sierra Nevadas. So I stopped for a little rest break. I need to rest my eyes. I think I'm going to lie down and close my eyes for a few minutes. So I thought I'd share with you some snow. That is definitely snow. November 2nd. Pretty high elevation. I think I've climbed well above the 7,000 foot level. I have not seen another elevation marker though. The temperature is in like the low 40s, so it's really pleasant and in the sun here, but the snow is not really melting off just yet. And up on the mountains that are all around here, they're just spectacular. You can almost see a little bit of them through the trees. This is not a real good vantage point on the mountain ranges, but driving through them, there's just one spectacular view after another. I can't stop to look at them all. So I'm going to take a little rest break, close my eyes for a few minutes, and get out of the snow. And then on we go to a little bit warmer, sunny California. Indian Oaks Trailer Campground. I'm kind of down near the end of the line here. Got a little lake back over there for the kids to play in. A few facilities for picnicking. Trying to get myself backed in there as best I can. Make room to maybe get my truck back in there, hopefully, as well. Well, kids, Indian Oaks did not work out. There were a few problems with that place. So I decided to do a quick move after staying there for one night just to regroup to another campsite. This one is called Tocolata Springs. It was about 5 miles away from Indian Oaks that I could move to relatively easily. I'll show you another look around from an elevation slightly over here, a hilltop, which is where I have to go to get some cell signal. So it's not ideal, but it's quiet, and for the time being it's probably going to be another temporary resting spot until I can figure out where to go more permanently. But otherwise it's a nice little park, nice little RV camp if you're out, want to go with the kids somewhere quiet and peaceful and RV it. Here's another view of the park showing a little more of the extent of it. There's my rig down there with the RV behind it. It's kind of blocked by someone else now. It's a fairly sizable RV park. A paved road that goes all the way through. We've got showers and bathrooms there. The center area where they have other hookups for RVs and large group outings, recreation areas and hiking and volleyball. So pretty good sized. Nice little park, Tocolata Springs. I walked up on a nearby hill to get some cell signal, because unfortunately I can't get it down there at my campsite, and there's my RV with the blue awning and my truck in front of it to give you a little bit more of an overview of the surrounding hillsides. It's your typical pretty dry looking Southern California landscape. Mountainous, but not the real big stuff like in Sierras or in the Rockies. But quite hilly, and all down there is the campground, Tocolata Springs RV Park, off behind the trees there. So this is the elevated roundabout look. The hill gets a little higher. Hey, but I got cell signal. Woohoo! I wouldn't want to do this at all hours of day and night in bad weather though. So this is probably going to be a temporary stopping point until I find something better. And here we have the world famous mini zoo at Tocolata Springs. It looks like a little peacock or peahen. I don't see any big peacock feathers. 2 peahens looking somewhat forlorn in their poor little encagement. A couple of rayas looking like curious. Do you have food? Are you good to eat? A couple of emus rather. Pretty small area for those big birds to live in. Seems kind of cruel to me. Some chickens and guinea fowl. And they said this is the bully of the guinea fowl. So they put him in with the turkeys and the rabbits so he couldn't pick on the other guinea fowl. And that's the tour of the zoo. They got a little catch and release lake over here. Some of the other park residents and their kids are out doing a little fishing. Nice little restful, cool spot. I don't see much catching or releasing, but I gather that's what you do. Oh, we got a live catch.
You did, right? Hold on, I'm gonna take this. Come on.
I got one!
Nice.
Come on, Riley. I think it's pretty simple.
Oh, yes! Yes, I got one! Put it on the ground, Dad.
Come on. First you have to hold him up to me, okay?
Put it on the ground.
First hold him right here.
Put it on the ground.
Oh, look, take a picture with him.
That's a whopper.
I got
Big one.
one.
Okay, put him, let go of his hole. Okay, now stand right next to it. I'll take a picture, ready?
Looks like a perch.
Can you hold this for a second? Just make him straight.
More
so we can
fun
see
and
the whole line?
games.